Here is an example of an interactive dashboard on Google Looker Studio. First, I have some buttons that will allow users to share the reports. The first option is if I click here, users will be able to grant access by using Google emails. So first example is here. The second one is by downloading a PDF. If I click here, users are able to get a PDF version of this dashboard. Now, as final option, if I click here, I will get a link to share this report. Other options are with drill downs or drop downs. Here with these controls, I can, for instance, type app. With this filter, I will filter all my traffic data where the URL contains app. The second option is a dropdown where I could choose multiple filters, like I want to visualize only the data coming from Google Ads as this example. This is just an example. Another example is that instead of having 100 dashboards for 100 different websites, I could have a selector like this one where I can select what websites I want to visualize. First, I would like to visualize this website and the data will change accordingly. Or if I want to visualize another website, it will work the same way. The most common way to filter your reports or to make them interactive is with date ranges. Here, by default, I am visualizing the entire 2024, but if, for instance, I want to select a different date range, I want to visualize this year or 2025, I can do this change and the data will be displayed accordingly. Now I will replace again to last year, apply, I will continue showing you this interactive dashboard. Another example is I could have 10 scorecards for 10 different metrics, or I could use optional metrics so people could select what metrics they would like to visualize. And also for time series charts, I could do the same. I could select optional metrics to visualize multiple metrics or only one in a time series. As long as I have optional metrics, I will also have these drill downs. If I want to visualize my data by date, or if I select by day of week, or by month, or by week of the year, and whatever, I can visualize all the date ranges within the same time series chart. Now, with these examples of making this dashboard interactive, I will show you another example of tables. If I scroll down in this table, I will be able to select my pages. I can also make my tables interactive. So one option is, as I have drill downs in time series, I can also change the dimensions I am visualizing on my tables. Here I am visualizing the full page URL of my GA4 data, but I can change that to the page title or even to the acquisition source of my traffic. And finally, I will be able to select also different metrics in this table. In this case, instead of sessions, I would like to visualize key events. As you can see, all our charts can be interactive on Looker Studio. And finally, I want to show you how to make your pie charts interactive. For instance, I can change the sorting of my data. I can display first sessions, or I can display a different dimension. And also I can use sliders to filter my data by a different data range. For instance, I only want to visualize acquisition sources that have more than 100K visits or less than 200K. This is a great example. I will show you all of these things: drill downs, controls, date ranges, sliders, and so on. I will see you in our next classes about controls, filters, and how to make your dashboards interactive on Google Looker Studio. To change date ranges on your Looker Studio reports, you will go to Add a Control and select Date Range Control. I will paste it in the dashboard, and with the dropdown, I will select a different date range. Here, I will choose this month, click this month, and click on Apply. Another option can be, for instance, I will select, instead of this month, I will choose last year, apply, and I can see a greater date range. Another way is not with dynamic date ranges. A dynamic date range depends on your current date. I will make the date range fixed now. So I will click here on the drop down and I will make it fixed. If I choose fixed, I could choose particularly September 4 to December 11. Regardless what is my current actual date, this data or this date will remain. So I will click on apply. I am visualizing the data like this. Another way to select the date range is, if I select, instead of fixed, I will make it advanced. Advanced will count the days depending on my current state, but I will show you an example. For instance, I want to say that from today, I want you to count minus 4 days or minus 4 quarters or weeks or whatever. So this is very specific, counting from a particular date. And another option, as an end date, I will select, for instance, from today minus 5 days. So this is very specific if you want a particular date range based on your current date. This is not quite often, but at least you have possibilities. Now I will click on apply and I have this advanced date range. What about if I only want to have a particular date range for a chart? When you create a date range control, it will affect by default all your charts. But in particular, you want a scorecard that only has this year to date data. I will show you how to do that. I will click on this chart, and if you scroll down in the setup, you will be able to change the default date range. Instead of automatic, you can select to custom. And in custom, you can select a particular date range for this chart. And with this is how you can create date range controls on Google Looker Studio. I will show you how to add buttons on your Looker Studio reports and what they do. I will go to add a control, then select button, and I will paste it right here. I will change the background to pink, and the font will be 18. Now I will change the copy and the action. I will go to setup, and the three types of actions I have is navigation, which is going to a different page on this report, or report actions, which is related with sharing this report. I will do report actions. The actions I have by default are invite people, get report link, download report, and reset filters. I will start with invite people. And the copy of this button will be that. It will say share. Now, the second action or the second button will be like this. I will copy and paste this button, and I will simply change the action and the copy. So in the action, I will add get report link, and the call to action here will be report link. And finally, for the third button, I will copy and paste. I will choose now download report as PDF, and the copy will be according to this download. As you can see, we can use buttons to make more visible these kind of actions of sharing these reports. Now, users of this report can get a download on PDF or can share it with other stakeholders, clients, and executives. I will show you what these buttons do once you click on them. If you want to segment your time series data by date, week, month, year, and other date ranges, and all in the same chart, we are talking, of course, about drill downs. To create them, I will select this chart and I will enable the option drill down. By default, Looker Studio will show me year and year month, but I will remove them. I will start from scratch. The first date type will be month or year month. The second one will be day of week or week of year. I will say day of week, and now I will select week and also month. Now we have selected our date ranges, but what about if I want to bring a dimension that I don't have available in my data source, like quarter? I can calculate it. So I will select date, I will edit it, and the data type will be year quarter. And I am done. I will do a final step. I will go to style, and by default, the header of this chart is not visible. I will make it visible. So show on hover, I will change it for always show. Now I will be showing always my header. I will go to view, and now I will be seeing the header with the arrows. If I select these arrows, I will be able to change the date range type. For instance, I am seeing day of week, now it is week, now month of year, and this is how you can create drill downs on Google Looker Studio. Input boxes are one of the best ways to filter your data on Google Looker Studio. Here is why. Go to Add a Control, select Input Box, and paste this widget anywhere on your dashboard. Now I will change the control field. Instead of date, I will use full page URL. I am connecting GA4 data for this example. Now I will go to Style, and I will change the position of the field name. Instead of the top, I will choose left. Now, in the setup, I will change the operator or the conditional. I won't use equals. I will use instead contains. Now I will show you an example. I want to filter the data on my website only for a particular URL. I want to see the traffic going to our application. So I will type app here, and this will filter all my traffic only to the traffic coming to that particular page. Here is how you can create search boxes on your Looker Studio reports. You can use dropdowns to filter all your data on your Looker Studio reports. To create a dropdown, go to Add a Control, select Dropdown List, and paste it anywhere on your dashboard. By default, my control field is date, but I will change it to session source. I want to know my acquisition sources. Here, I will select this and I will choose an option. For example, I will only want to visualize my data coming from Google Organic. If I select it, now my dashboard is filtering the data from this acquisition source, but I could also change to Bing, to Facebook, social media, organic, and so on. Here is how you can create a dropdown on Google Looker Studio. You can turn any Google Looker Studio chart into a filter or a control with cross filtering. To enable it, I will select this chart, I will scroll down in setup, and I will go until I reach chart interactions, and I will enable cross filtering. As you can see here, once I enable it, I will go to view, and if I click, for instance, in directing this pie chart, this will filter all my dashboard data to only show traffic from the source direct. I can do the same with Google. If I select Google instead, it will filter again all my data in this dashboard only to show traffic coming from Google. This is how you can turn any chart into a control. This is how cross-filtering works on Google Looker Studio. You can export your Google Looker Studio data on Google Sheets and then use AI to analyze it. Here is how. If you go to any of your Looker Studio charts, you will see an option of More. Click there, click on Export, and choose Google Sheets as destination. In Options, keep value formatting and export. This will create a new spreadsheet with the same data we had on our pie chart. This pie chart had an acquisition report, so I am breaking down my traffic data by acquisition sources. I would like to analyze this by tagging it into different categories. Now, to access AI, you will install our free application that connects ChatGPT to Google Sheets. If you install it, you will see this option of Porter AI, and I will go to settings. There are two things that you can modify. The AI model, we offer all the models from the OpenAI API, and also you can change the response style. If you want a style of an analyst to analyze the data or tag it, or a creative to create copy, for instance. I will save these settings and I will go back and I will create a formula that comes with this application. The formula is Ask Potter, and I will create a prompt that will reference the cell in the column A. I will show you this example. So the prompt says, tag this acquisition source as owned by Google or external. So ChatGPT will say, okay, Google is owned by Google. Direct maybe is owned by Google, and for instance, Bing is external. Let's see this. I will create this formula, and once I create this formula, this will tag this value. Now I will select all my cells, and this will do it automatically. And this is how you can create analysis at scale with AI, and how you can export your data from Google Looker Studio on Google Sheets. If you want to display multiple metrics in the same chart, like a scorecard, we will need to create optional metrics. To create optional metrics on Google Looker Studio, we will select the chart and we will enable optional metrics. In this exercise, besides sessions, I want to add total users and key events to measure conversions. I am using GA4 data for this exercise. Finally, for the style, I will show the header and I will change the color of the font. First, I will show the header always, so it is always visible in my chart, and the color will be purple. If I go to view, you can see how users will see this dashboard. As you can see, I can select different metrics. Instead of total users, I want to visualize key events, or I can get back to the original version. With this, now you already know how to create optional metrics on Google Looker Studio. If you want to filter a particular data range on your Google Looker Studio charts, we will need to create sliders. To create a slider on Google Looker Studio, I will select the chart, and as a limitation, I will choose optional metrics. If I choose optional metrics, now I cannot choose a slider, so I will turn this off. Instead, I will select metric sliders and I will go to view. In this exercise, I will say that I want to filter some acquisition sources on my website traffic. I can see that Google Play is driving 50,000 visits, but Google or SEO is driving 800K visits. This data is a little bit messy. I want to filter it. So I will choose the sliders and I will say, I only want to know acquisition sources that are maximum 700K visits. And also, I only want to filter acquisition sources that are at least 100K visits. And this is how you can filter your data by particular data ranges on Google Looker Studio with sliders. To create a data control on Google Looker Studio, go to Add a Control, select Data Control, and paste it on your Looker Studio dashboards. By default, the data source is Google Analytics Universal, but I will change it to GA4. Here, with this dropdown, I am able to select what website I want to visualize in this dashboard. By default, I have this demo, but I could change it to something else. I have other connectors like Google Ads, YouTube, the Campaign Manager, Search Console, and mainly all the Google data sources. Now, if you would like to change it to Google Ads, you will need your charts to be related or connected to Google Ads. And this is how you can create data controls on Google Looker Studio.